Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katelyn from Florals.com and welcome back to Stamping for Scrapbookers, where I am joined by Christina, Sarah, and Sandy for different ways you can use different types of stamps on your scrapbooking layouts. This month we are looking at using critters on our page. A lot of us have stamps that are birds or butterflies or dogs or cats. There's a long list of random animals that end up in stamp sets, but today I'm actually featuring right now this Martha Stewart bird stamp, which I don't end up using, but I thought I would leave in the coloring anyway. You guys might end up seeing this in a card, or it might end up on a different layout, but I do end up using bird stamps, just it doesn't happen to be this one because of the color scheme I have pulled out for my layout. The cardinal red just doesn't work into the natural color scheme, but I do love how this turns out, so I thought I'd leave a little bit of coloring in there because I know a lot of people love watching it happen. And again, it's just a soothing process. So if you guys don't have a coloring tool, if you don't have watercolors or markers or something like that, I think these Arteza ones are pretty inexpensive and give you a lot of different colors, and they're pretty easy to use, and you don't have to do the fancy things that come along with Copics or anything. But this was my original intention, was to do this cardinal look, and I end up swapping this out for a different idea. But the intention was there, so I did want to keep this in because sometimes your ideas change. So I don't finish coloring the cardinal, I just decide pretty much right here that it's too much color for the original pastels that I wanted to go with. So here's where I find another set of stamps, and this one's from Inkadinkado. I don't know if they still carry it. I know they're kind of a older line in the scrapbooking and card making industry, but I have several bird stamps. I think it's called Birds Galore, and if I can find any of the products I'm featuring in this layout, I will have them linked down below so you guys can check them out. But first I'm testing out a bunch of ink colors. Now I am someone who does not currently have any ink swatches, so I want to do some swatching first so I can see what colors will match the color scheme of this beautiful Maggie Holmes paper that I have not seen a ton of people use. I know the Bloom collection is very old, but using this as a full 12 by 12 is something not as common as people just cutting it apart and using bits and pieces. But I am testing a bunch of distress ink colors to see which one I want to use for the background stamping, essentially, because I end up only using one. So you'll see me going through all these colors, and that lilac was very difficult to open, and I hadn't used it before, so nice to see that color. But I did really like that color. It just wasn't my number one choice. So as I move through these different colors, testing some that are darker, weathered wood, which is again another one that I haven't used before, does not look anything like its cover does. So its cover is a nice light gray, and when you stamp it, it's much more of a dark gray steel blue, but I do really like how it turned out. And if you guys are looking for more details on how this process went, I have behind the scenes videos over on my Patreon channel for all of my tiers, so if you're interested in joining, you can check that out over there. But essentially I could not for the life of me find my large stamping block, and I don't have a large stamping platform, I only have a smaller one, so I couldn't put any of these into that to try to use it on the layout in the background. But here's where I start testing out the colors. So this is weathered wood the first time, just kind of testing it out and seeing how it would look. And I don't know if I've used this like cascading bird stamp before, but I don't think I have used it on a project before. Next I come in with an archival ink in Hickory Smoke, which again is a distress color, just in a different type of ink form. And sometimes what you'll find is if once you ink it with a more permanent ink, something that's not water-based, like the distress inks have that special property to them, you'll find that the next time you take ink to it, it'll adhere much better. So that's similar to the people who rub erasers on their stamps, the pink erasers, just to get that texture of a brand new stamp off. Kind of the same effect. You're kind of just giving it more texture to work with so that the ink can stick together. So here using my 2 stamp blocks to stamp this larger image, which worked out really well. So if you guys are looking at buying stamps that might not fit your normal stamp blocks that you work with, you could definitely try the technique I just did, just use one and then the other when you come back and just add additional pressure. Really depends on what you're looking for, but the other stamps I do use from this set do fit on my normal stamping block, which is good. So for this layout, I end up stamping that cascading birds on the left-hand side, and then I want to start working on my photo layers. So I have a ton of scraps for my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of June, and if you guys have not checked that out, I'll have the playlist linked down below so you guys can get some more scrappy inspiration using this collection and then several other collections I have in this kit. And I'll also have the Stamping for Scrapbookers playlist linked down below in case you guys need to catch up on previous episodes. And I'll also have Sandy's, Sarah's, and Christina's videos linked down below so you guys can check out their wonderful stamping on their projects. And it's really nice to have a theme so you guys can see different ways that different people can use stamps on their layouts. And here I decide that I'm going to ink the edges, which is something I've been doing recently more so than usual. And I go back with the weathered wood because it's this nice steel blue, which is in the background paper as well. I have the gray and a steel blue, so it really works well for those darker colors to let the pastels really pop and shine. So once I do that, I'm just adding more and more scraps. So I have a couple from Craftsmith Co. I have a couple from Maggie Holmes, that Florals from there, and I'm just layering them together and again inking the edges because some of these are very light and I want to make sure there's a definitive line between the different types of light pattern papers. I do debate bringing in this pink one as well, which again is not from Maggie Holmes but is rather from Craftsmith Co. and just another one from my stash. I find that inking the edges of your paper can be really satisfying as well. It's just one of those things. It doesn't take too long, especially if you have a nice object like the ink blending tool that I have from Tim Holtz or a different brand. And it just adds a nice feature. And again, you can kind of see it on that last slot of the photo layers there, and you can really see it against the background paper. So it really helps shine and again brings in more of that color that we've started to use in stamping on the background with those bird stamps. And since the theme is critters this month, I do want to encourage you guys to get something on your pages in the next few weeks that relates to critters, whether it be birds, bugs, if you have some boy layouts perhaps to make or some outdoor layouts to make, or just some pups and cats, you know, just some furry friends that you might have at home that you want to feature. Here I'm now taking an old Fancy Pants washi tape and simply tucking it into my layers. Now this is very difficult to do. Luckily the washi tape worked well with me and I didn't have to fight it too much, but I was able to slip it under between two of the layers just to kind of help add another punch of that minty teal green color. Now this sticker I've had for a while. I got it from a collab from a design team I was on, and it's from American Crafts sticker set. I'm not sure what the original collection that it was a part of was because it's the only part I got from it, but I think this is considered an empty for the month since it's the only one that I had and I used the whole sticker. I think I might count it as an empty, so let me know your guys' thoughts about that because you guys know that I've been counting empties and this month's been kind of slow if you've been keeping up, but that's okay. A little can go a long way. Now that I have that in place, I'm going to put my title over top of it, and I also keep pulling in this stamp to see if I can fit it around the title. And to be honest, I don't really add a ton of embellishing till the very end of this layout, which is unlike me in my opinion. I think I'm an embellisher all the way through, but since this is a gift layout, these are for my niece's graduation album, I think that it's quite interesting to see how I react for something that's not necessarily mine. So while I do add embellishments, I feel like it's more towards the end. And here I'm doing some detail work and then I'll go back to some stamp work and back with the Weatherwood Distress ink, which might be my new favorite color. And if you guys know, I do favorite videos every month, so the June favorites will come out in July, and I think the Weathered Wood ink might just be in there. So keep your eyes peeled for that and make sure you're subscribed so you can see that when it comes out. Here I'm testing another stamp and realizing how different the ink looks when you first stamp it versus the second time you stamp it. So since this again is a brand new stamp, I haven't used this particular one before, I went back in with the archival ink to add another layer of texture for the distress ink to hold on to when I put it down on the paper. And since I was stamping over some washi tape, I'm taking my Lawn Fawn chamois to make sure I'm wiping off the excess ink because it will not dry there. And then I had the idea to pull in another stamp because just because the theme is critters doesn't mean I can't add a few other stamps in. So I pulled this woodblock stamp, which is also becoming one of my favorites. And it's actually from 1998 and I picked it up. It's a used stamp I picked up from a local scrapbook store back in February when I was traveling. And it's just a nice little polka dot. It almost looks like splatters, and again it matches because I'm using the same ink color, which really just helps drive home this color scheme that I'm going for. And you'll see I'm using a post-it note. When I do splatters, for the most part, you usually want to cover the important things. So it looks like the splatters were there intentionally and put, you know, sort of as a before thought, not an afterthought. So by putting the post-it note on top of the photos and the photo layers, it looks like the dots might continue underneath those layers. Here's where I start doing the real embellishing, and to be honest, it comes along pretty quick. I pull out this We Are Memory Keepers Honey I'm Home sticker set, which is a beautiful color scheme and really does match the Maggie Holmes Floral or Bloom collection rather, and I think it just works so very well. We have that tealy blue, gray, green color. Again, very interesting color. I'm not sure, everyone thinks it's a different color, but we have that color, we have the yellow, we have the pinks, and we have the greens, and again, really matches. I think the only thing that's missing is the purple, but again, purple's not heavily used in scrapbooking, so it's not that surprising that it's not as prevalent in other collections like it is in this Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. And speaking of Maggie Holmes, of course, I am going to pull in my Maggie Holmes sticker book, which is my pride and joy, the most used sticker book I have in my stash, I believe, and I use a little bit more of it, and that's how you get through things. You just got to use a little bit at a time, and pulling for the same things can help you get through those faster. So I only do own 3 sticker books, and this is definitely by far my most used because I think it's the most versatile of the ones I have, especially with color scheme and just products in general because it covers a lot of things. So I add a couple more birds to this layout from the sticker book, and then I add additional glue underneath my We Are Memory Keepers and my Maggie Holmes stickers just so they stay in place. And then I start pulling in a couple more stickers here. So I pull out this one that says remember, just a yellow ticket, really adds another pop of yellow. And the reason I chose this background paper was because it was so busy, and it has a lot of themes on it that really go with the photo, which was a group photo from the anniversary dinner of my mom's passing. So it's a really sentimental photo, and having all these words around it like joy and celebrate and family and connect and believe and share, and it just really goes very well with this theme of celebrating life and just having family time together. So I'm going to keep going through my sticker book, adding a couple more stickers here and there. I am very much so a sticker-holic. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to sticker books, I definitely over-embellish. But that is it for this layout. Here are the close-ups so you can see those stamping details and that weathered wood color that I used. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And also be sure to check out the other wonderful ladies stamping today, linked down below, because you don't want to miss out on those. And also check out the other links I have down below for educational resources and additional information on where you can find these products. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye guys!